you've disappeared against that black thing in the back of you. You're just a floating head. Oh, I don't know how to do that quickly.
It is. It's elaborate. It's the story of Neil Armstrong.
And his wife, Janet.
And the space program.
Yes.
No, because it's a period of time. It's a period of 10 years, isn't it? It's a very specific focus on his life.
This kind of came about in a different way for me, in that I met Damien first about this film, and then he had to make La La Land first. So, we ended up talking more about Gene Kelly than about Neil Armstrong in that meeting, and then we made La La Land together, and then this film was ready to make. So I'd already had the experience of making a movie with him, and I'd had the opportunity to read Jim Henson's book, First Man, and I realized that there's just, it's such an extraordinary story that I knew nothing about, and I felt really honored to be asked to be a part of it.
There was nothing to not like. Is that right? Yeah, it was just, I loved the script, I loved her, I loved the fact that she was a fully kind of fleshed out character, and that I didn't have to beg, luckily, but I would have probably to have been part of it.
They're incredible people. It was an amazing experience getting to spend time with them, and their sons were very involved, and Janet Armstrong, who Claire plays, who recently passed away, she was involved in the process, and just an extraordinary woman. I don't think I knew anything about Neil or Janet.
Nothing really.
They weren't people who wanted the spotlight, and they were very, very humble, selfless people living outside of their own self-interest, and somehow found a way, and that's an incredible achievement in and of itself, to be under the microscope in the way that they were, and to still find a way to maintain their privacy and keep the focus on the mission and not on themselves.
It was a challenge, but it was a good, I think, to try and depict real family life in a way that doesn't feel forced or kind of trite, or was something that I, wanted to be a part of. But I think that Damien already kind of took that out of our hands, in the sense that he already knew that that's what he wanted to do as well. And so he kind of gave us lots of room to make that happen, really. Damien gave me like a whole list of all documentaries and things, because it was shot all handheld and really documentary style, so that was amazing. But we did 2 weeks of rehearsal that was improvised and shot as well. He filmed a lot of it, and quite a lot is in the film, just so that we didn't feel the pressure that we had to suddenly perform.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to go to NASA, and which was, a mind-bending experience, really, really incredible, something I'll never forget. The physical aspect sort of it was there, but more it was just, there was so much technical information to try and absorb. The mission sequences, a lot of focus on them and on getting those to feel as accurate as possible. A lot of attention paid into making the consoles authentic, and the dialogue from those sequences are from the Capcoms, the original recordings. Technical advisors who'd been involved in those missions. There are 3 people who had been to the moon on set advising us on how that felt, or what would be in our minds at any given time. Most of the research, outside of learning about Neil in general, went towards just trying to understand and process those missions as best as I could.
I mean, and doing kind of like Q&As with him and things like that, I just could listen to him talk all day. He's so intelligent and has such a creative mind. To be able to be technical, which he is, because you couldn't make a film like he can make unless you were technically savvy, but to have a poet and a heart, he is touched and moved by so many things, and to make 3 such distinct and unique films to come out of one person. Watching a filmmaker, I just think that's incredible. I think it's incredible. He's incredible.
Yeah, no matter what the sort of scale of his films, whether you start with it being about just like a drummer in one room, or expanding it to a musical, or then expanding, to the universe, it's they're just incredibly immersive experiences, his films. He has that ability, I think, as a film lover, he knew why he fell in love with movies, and that feeling that a film could give you in a theater of being just like enveloped in the world of the movie, and he's just very connected to that, and he knows how to transfer that to the audience, and it's a really, powerful talent.
Mm-hmm.